If you can control your mind, you can become the master of everything. And so I've come to the realization that the most important skill you can learn in life is to become the master of your mind, control your mind. And so mastering your mind isn't just a skill. Your mind is a bunch of small muscles put together. So muscles like self-discipline, focused, patience, caring, kindness, leadership, all these different skills, soft skills, are muscles, and they're all put together, and you can individually train these muscles like you train your physical muscles in the gym. And so in today's video, I'm going to go over the science behind this and what I've learned, and so how you can also train these individual muscles, mind muscles, to become stronger and control your mind. And so what we have here is a neuron, and it's the way that one part of your brain will communicate with another, has these different neurons, and they send signals down them to other parts of the brain. And so the long stringy part in the middle is what's called an axon. And say for instance, we want to train our psychological muscle of self-discipline. You may never have trained this before, so this axon, this stringy part, will be thin because you haven't used it before. Like if you've never been to the gym and you've never done a bicep curl, your bicep's going to be small just because you've never used it before. Now let's say you keep going to the gym, you do some bicep curls, after a few months the bicep starts to get a bit bigger. Same thing for our self-discipline. If we start doing some activities that build our self-discipline, this axon will develop what's called a myelin sheath, and so it's like a tubing around the axon to make it stronger, to make the connection go faster. So the way you can train your physical muscles and make them stronger is the same if you train your mental muscles, like your self-discipline. The connection will be stronger and allow the brain to connect faster to different parts of the brain. And so gradually you keep practicing your self-discipline, become stronger and stronger. And this myelin sheath starts getting bigger and thicker, which allows your mind to send the signals down the axon even faster. And it becomes easier. Just like, say if you've been going to the gym for 5 years, picking up something that's 100 kilos, you know, if you've been progressively increasing the amount of effort you've been putting in, picking up 100 kilos can be pretty straightforward. And so same thing with building your mental muscles. They eventually become super strong. So initially when you go back to when you started, picking up something like a dumbbell in the gym might be pretty hard. But after 5 years of doing it consistently every day, it gets really easy. Same thing for your mental muscles. So how can we build our psychological muscles? We want to train them like you train at the gym. Know what muscles you're working on. If you go to the gym and you're doing a bicep curl, you know that you're going to be training the bicep muscle, not the calf, not some other muscle. You're going to be training the bicep. Same thing for psychological muscles. If you want to work on your focus or your leadership, you go and do activities that will work those muscles. Don't expect your self-discipline to improve if you're doing a leadership skill. So know what muscle you're working on. You then want to do activities that will train your psychological muscle. So for instance, like I said, patience. Something you could do to improve your patience would be something like meditations. You want to figure out what activity you could do that will improve that muscle. So if you want to improve your bicep muscle, you do bicep curls. If you want to improve your fitness, you go cycling or running or do some aerobic activities. Know what activities will improve that muscle. This also comes down to your identity. Identity means repeated being. So if you do an activity that's aligned with your identity repeatedly, say for instance, you do meditations, a 5-minute meditation every single day, repeatedly doing meditations, you're developing that patience muscle, and so your repeated being of developing that patient muscle turns you into a patient person. Someone doesn't become patient after doing meditation once. They do it repeatedly, doing it every single day. Becomes their identity. And so the more you train this muscle, the stronger it will get. Like I said in the previous slide, the more you work that axon, the thicker the myelin sheath gets, which allows your brain to communicate faster to different neurons, and you start to build that muscle, it becomes stronger. Same with the gym. You start off with a light weight and you progressively train that muscle harder and harder, and it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger so it can carry more weight. Same thing with your physical and psychological muscles. They can be built the same way. And so this was super eye-opening for me. I didn't really realize that you could train your psychological muscles. And so I'm trying to incorporate this into my life, try and train different psychological muscles to build my mind so I can control my mind, because it's the most important skill I've realized that I can develop in my life. And it's a lifelong development. It's not going to happen overnight. And I've realized that. And you don't become super muscly overnight. Same thing with your psychological muscle. You can't control your mind overnight. You've got to develop this every single day. Do some sort of practice. It doesn't have to be a lot. A couple minutes here or there. Pick what muscle you want to work on. Find an activity that will improve that muscle and practice it every single day. Let me know how it goes. If you like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.